And just like that, we are back. Welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, guess what? We are those people, and we've been having these conversations since college.
Yes, the regular guys, random thoughts. 90 Day Fiance, Season 9, Episode 11, recap. And I don't understand why there's 9 seasons of this stupidity, but here we are.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff this week, man. And, you know, starting off with our favorite displaced African in Salina, Kansas. And I say displaced because he just seems so out of place, so uncomfortable everywhere. I was uncomfortable watching him in a jewelry shop. And it wasn't just because he was shopping for jewelry and the price of jewelry and whatnot. It was because it looked like the jeweler was going to spit some of that chew out at some point in time somewhere across the countertop. I was like, take that shit out your mouth.
Hey, you let small town folks do small town folk things. Mind your business. You know, I'm getting to the point that it's hard for me to even like Emily anymore. You know, but watching this episode, I thought it was nice that the dad and sister went out to help him pick out a ring. I still don't like how the show portrays these people like they are idiots, that they did not do any research to know how much things cost in America compared to where they are. And so it just bothers me that that's how they're making them look. But anywho, I'm watching this. I'm like, Kobe, you got $4,000. Mm-hmm. You're going to spend almost $1,200 on a ring and you still have no job. Why? Like, why would you do it? Just, and I get it. It's a pride thing. It's that male, you know, I get it. You know, his ego is impacted, but I'm like, that's just not a good business decision.
It's definitely not a good business decision. You heard his dad, her dad say that because David, Emily's dad, was saying Kobe buying a diamond ring is stupid. And he may be right. But then he follows that right up and says, but I get it because that's what Emily... Yeah, it's your fault why he has to buy the stupid ring. Because you raised this girl to be that way.
Yeah, 100% that these parents, y'all brought up the spoiled child. And this is why she wants to live the way that she wants to live and wants all the things that she wants. And again, Kobe spent money on a ring. She spent money on a ring. I'm like, where's all this money coming from? And you still living at Mama Nim's. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
That's what the daddy was like. Wait, when she broke out her ring, he's like, what do you mean you bought a ring? Where'd you get the money from?
Where'd you get that? And I'm paying for y'all's wedding. And so, you know, I think what Kobe was trying to do, I respect that. You know, he set up the date night. They go to the nice restaurant. And the ring and the champagne glass, I was like, that's pretty smooth. I liked it. So I'll give Kobe.
Be careful. That was $1,000 ring. That ring might have turned green in that champagne. He lucky.
I give Kobe some props for trying. And then Emily was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have sex all night. I'm just like, what's your deal? And then when they went to go look at beds, I'm sitting there looking at this like, is that Ashley Furniture? Like they look like it was Ashley Home Store. I got to see if there's one in Salina, Kansas. But then why would Emily tell him at the end of a beautiful day? Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I guess I should, you know, confess
I got
something.
a confession I should make.
I bought a ring because I didn't think you could do it. So I had a backup plan. And here's what it looked like. And it's really better than what you got, but I like what you got me.
It made no sense to me for her. You bought the ring. Your sister knows it. Your dad knows it. They never said anything to Cole because they knew what it would do to him. And she decides to just bring it up anyway. And not only bring it up, but then show him. This is what I like of what Kobe did. He was like, I don't even want to see this. He didn't even hand it back to her. He handed it to the dad, like, here, I don't even want to see this. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Got up, walked out. That's it. Because how are you going to do this to this man in that manner? If you're already selfish, you're going to get it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Right? Don't let him know that. He'll see it when he sees it on the show and he can be mad at you then. But don't embarrass this man in front of the rest of the family.
Well, and that's what she's not taking into consideration. So you have this man that comes from another country and a culture where men are regarded at a higher level than women, fortunately, in that country, which, well, now look at where we are in America. But then he comes to Salina, Kansas, where he's one of 5 black people. in this small little city. And he already feels I can't work, so he can't really be a man and take care of himself and his family. He's having to live within his house. He already feels like less of a man. Now he's trying to do something to where he can get his, puffy chest out and feel good about himself. And then you just chop his balls off again right in front of your whole family.
Run, Kobe. Run. As fast as you can.
And bring Coben with you, because that little boy's going to be in some trouble.
Trust me, Emily can't catch you. She's not in the shape to catch you. Trust me.
Well, he's not in the shape to run either. Let's goes both ways.
It was good to see Cara and Guillermo have some touching moments in this one, because sad story going on with him here, and you got to see her actually show a softer side, which we didn't really know existed because we haven't seen it in the first 10 episodes of the season.
Right. Well, and it was they weren't on much in this, but for rightful reasons, man, with his brother dying. But I thought that Guillermo said something really interesting. He said, when you do something like this, all you think about is the good stuff. I'm going to America, 90 days, I'm going to get married to this person I love, and I got this new life, and all these things are going to be able to happen. But you don't think about the what if, right? And the fact that he can't go home to go see his brother, go to his brother's funeral. You don't really think about that in those moments. And so the sacrifices that these people are making to come here for love, hopefully, come here for love for the show, it's a big sacrifice, because they just can't hey, I'm going to go see my brother's dying, I'm going to the funeral, I'll be back next week. You can't do that. And so that has to be tough, especially if you have a close family. And I think his family seemed to be pretty close. I'm sure that has to hurt.
Well, if he had an up-to-date passport and they were already married, then yes, he could. But obviously, within that first 90 days, this is not something they expected to happen. They didn't think his brother was going to deteriorate that fast. And I think for them, even just the fact that he was doing better and then all of a sudden passes, was tough to see. But, again, I thought this being the first episode that they've shown all 7 couples, and theirs was very limited time. I thought it was good with having them there, because you got to see a softer side of Cara and Guillermo, and kind of see them just kind of being there for him. And, him opening up to her about his feelings and how he feels, which he's never been afraid to do. So that's good to see that moment where it's not just this friction and, you don't know what you want, you don't know this. It was really good to see that.
Yeah.
Complete opposite of Yve Mohamed back in Albuquerque, as they go to the gym, and as they walk into the gym and she's getting him a gym membership, I realized that she may have one, but she never really uses it, because that first machine he even had her on, he had it on 20 pounds and she was struggling.
Well, and I don't know, who are we to judge these people? But I do find interesting that there are people who I work out all the time. I do yoga 6 days a week. I'm like, that's different than some of this other stuff. And maybe if you can kind of mix it up a little bit, you can push more than 20. But she's also almost 50, so cut her some slack. But this couple, who I've been saying from the beginning, why, is ridiculous. She wants to have another baby. You're 48. You're 48. Not to say you can't have a baby at 48, but you want to have a baby with this man-child. So now you're going to have 3 kids at the house. He's just going to be the oldest, because he can babysit. So he's in charge when mommy go to work. But what are you thinking about having this baby with this man? And then kudos to Mohamed, because Mohamed seems to be the one that's keeping it real from the beginning. He's like, I've told you that here's how I live. Here's what I expect. If we have a kid, my kid's going to be Muslim. If my kid's not going to be Muslim, I don't want to have a kid. And I'm just like, he sticks to his guns. But she has no intent of converting to Islam. This is not going to work. So why are you trying to force this relationship?
He has been very clear. I've told you what my intentions are, and this is what it is. You cannot confuse my child. He said what it is. So there's no question. There's no, well, I didn't know. No, you can't. And then Let's dial it back just even to the very beginning when they first got to the gym. How's this outfit? Is this good? Why you wait till you get to the gym to ask him that question? You ask him that in the house because obviously you knew that he wasn't going to be happy with that outfit. And kudos to Mohamed again because he even says, I feel it's too revealing, but I've got to let her be her. And so kudos to him in that because he could have been like, no, you need to put this sweater back on. But he didn't. Instead, he says, I'm going to let her be her. And then when they get to the kids part, here he is again saying, look, I'm going to make this very clear to you. Because she's, but what if, but what if they want to go with mommy? No. That's not how this works.
Yeah. You're not going to confuse my child, especially if she had a daughter. Oh, goodness. What would that mean? So I'm just like, this whole thing is pointless. Why would any woman in Yve's situation, 48, marry 24-year-old guy from Egypt, never left his country before, and dead set on where he stands on his values, and he does not negotiate, or compromise. This is what he believes, and he's telling her it's like this. If you don't want to do this, I'm like, Eve, what are you thinking? So I just look at her. It's just like, oh goodness, please don't bring another child into this world.
Well, Janet had a child at 50, so she's probably thinking if Janet did it, I can too. Because you can't have a surrogate. He's definitely not going to be down for a surrogate.
Who's Janet?
Jackson.
Okay. Pause. Millions of dollars. So that's a total different ball game. If she had Janet Jackson money, she wouldn't be with Mohamed. She would be with.
Look, Mohamed would convert.
Someone here in the States would have slid in her DMs, not someone all the way in Egypt. So, please.
Oh, man. Bilal and Shaeeda still in Atlanta, getting ready to leave, but before they do, Shaeeda is still a little upset about the prenup. And I think that's unrealistic of her being upset about the prenup. But Bilal thinking that it was a good idea, as he sat down with his sister, for him to pop out that prenup in the middle of the Ferris wheel. He saw nothing wrong with it. He goes, well, when
she was throwing up, I thought this would maybe help settle her stomach.
It might have made a jump, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to be sick. Oh, wait, read this. The
way he tried to justify, well, as she was feeling sick, I got the email notification, so come on. Even you can't be that stupid.
So I think he would want a prenup even if he met someone in Kansas City or Trinidad. So I don't think it's about her. But I think Shy, instead of talking to your birdies, I'm glad she asked, I want to meet with your lawyer. But I think you need to get your own lawyer. I'm not going to trust someone else's lawyer to put some in a contract to take care of me. And I don't see Bilal signing a document that says he will get her pregnant by 40.
It's not an unreasonable request.
It's not unreasonable. I just don't think he's going to do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's because he is on this whole I am man, you woman, you do what I say mentality. But I mean, I get why he wants to protect his assets. He's been divorced twice already, so I get it. With her though, and wanting this put in the prenuptial agreement, I don't think it's a bad thing. And we have no idea what's in there. We have no idea what's in it. We just know it's a prenuptial agreement, and they purposely leave the details out because details could be, hey, you stay married to me for 5 years, you get this. Here's the other part of it, and I talked about this last week. There's already a part, once you sign that K-1 visa, once you come in and you get married on that K-1 visa, he's responsible for her for a certain number of years. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't make it a year, he's still responsible for I think, like another 5 years or something like that. I don't know why 5 is just sticking in my head. But whatever that number is, he's still going to be responsible for her. So what's it past that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the details of what determines the prenuptial agreement, I think people just get offended by a prenuptial agreement. As you should never be offended by one. Now, what's inside of it may determine whether you be offended by it. Yeah. I'm not mad at her for asking for it. Ask for that too, because if you want the kids, because otherwise he'll go, well, you can't have my money, and you also can't have my kids, because my kids mean you get my money for 18 years.
Yeah.
Look, get it in there what you want. But I will say this. Watching today's episode let me know why Shaeeda's other two engagements were off. And I think just looking at certain things she's done throughout the season, you see this, a little messy here, a little messy there, but she also can't pack for shit. I mean, did you see the way she just tossing stuff into that bag, and then after that, just throws the shoes on top of it? You don't even put the shoes in a bag. You had those shoes walking all up the streets of Atlanta. I know what downtown Atlanta looks like. Okay, I've been by that Ferris wheel. You don't want that on your clothes. Trust me.
I made a note. So I'm like, why does he care how she packed? It's her bag. It's her stuff. Might not be how I pack, but whatever. So there's that. But did you pick up on what Bilal told his sister? Is that everyone who's ever loved me that I've loved back has left me. And so I'm wondering, okay, why did those two other relationships not work out? But this is one of those things where we talked about on the show before, therapy is important, and it's not just for women. Men should go see therapy too. So before you get into another relationship, he should have had that figured out. If his whole issue is that she's going to leave me, so I'm trying to prepare myself with this prenup for when she does leave, there's something deeper in there that he needs to talk to somebody and deal with that. But
or look in the mirror and notice that you're the asshole in the relationship.
Or, if you're the common denominator from the two other wives who left you, what is that you're doing that's causing these people to leave? But again, the way the show depicts him talking to Shy and like treating her, to me, I'm like, dude, I can see why you're single. Who would want to put up with that?
Exactly.
I wouldn't want Shy washing her feet in my kitchen sink, and putting her voodoo all on my floor. I don't want that.
You don't know. You haven't seen her feet yet. She may have pretty toes. You might be like, yes, please put them up in the sink.
No, I don't care how good your feet look. You're not washing your feet in my kitchen sink. Bathroom sink, sure, but kitchen where I do dishes, no, that's a foul. You can pack wherever you want, but you do that in the kitchen, I'm like, we got to talk. This is not going to work out.
As we move over to Rapid City, South Dakota, Jibri and Miona. I don't know how to feel about this ambush they pulled on Miona. I really felt bad for her. I thought it was an ambush by his parents, and then he just piled on. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? If she looked like a beaten child, a beaten, abused dog when she sat there at the table and just was like, but I give her credit. She stood her ground on a lot of things with him. But if I'm her, I'm like, pack this shit up. Peace out.
Get an Uber to Serbia.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with her wholeheartedly that if they don't get married in this process, she's done. Because she made the good point to say that, look at everything that we've sacrificed to get to this point and how hard it's been. And if you do all that and then he still doesn't want to get married to her, then she's willing to leave. I totally get that. The parents just don't like her, and maybe they never will like her, and that's totally fine. But again, I look at, why is their marriage or their relationship right now, why has it been rocky? It's because of where they live.
Yeah.
So all the time that he was with her in Serbia and any other place without being in Rapid City, then everything was great. She hates being there. She doesn't like his parents. His parents don't like her. All of that is the drama. Now, she wants the beach wedding and all that kind of stuff. But that's Jibri's fault, because he should have nipped that in the bud a long time ago and said, here's what we're doing. Here's the money situation or whatever. But I like the fact that she stood her ground at that dinner. She didn't like break down and cry. She didn't, excuse herself to go sulk, and call Jibri out. It's like, you're an adult. Like, if you can't make this decision on your own without your parents, then what are we doing?
But here's the thing about this. And his parents, like you said, they just don't like her, right? His mom doesn't like her. But she's acting like she doesn't know how the K-1 visa works. You can't, if she leaves, if she's here and doesn't get married in that 90 days, she has to go back. There's no reapplying for a K-1 visa. I was just looking it up. Can it be reissued? After it's been issued, you must enter the States. You must marry after 90 days. It does not allow you to renew or extend your K-1 visa. So if you can't renew, you can't extend, then what? Now he's got to go to Serbia and get married there because y'all don't want to go to the beach. Imagine you have to go to Serbia for the wedding.
Yeah.
How's that gonna work? I'm just trying to understand how all the mother would say was, well, you're pressuring him, and maybe y'all should wait another year or two. Why? It's been this long already. Here's what it is. You know or you don't, and we know this as guys. We know this. The only turning back and saying no, but know that it's over, and it has to be. And I'm with you. I agree with her. And I like the fact that she stood her ground on everything. And she didn't get angry. She stayed very calm and just took all that shit they threw at him. And I'm almost disappointed in the grandmother. Because the grandmother should have spoken up and said something about the way they were all ganging up on her. Because even the grandmother knows that Jibri's mom is a bit much at times.
Yeah, I mean, Jibri's mom is a bit much. But what do you think about Jibri's dad? Like to me, sometimes you got to step up and say something. And he's just doing whatever makes his wife happy. And,
that man said, when y'all move out, I still got to live here.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's in survival mode himself. But to your point, it's not that I don't think she doesn't know how the K-1 visa thing works. I'm sure they're all knowledgeable of that whole process. And I'm glad that she stuck up for Miona when Jibri called her a millennial with a microwave mentality. And she's like, I'm not going to let you call her names. I'm like, really? I know you don't care, but for the camera's sake, you're trying to step up. Appreciate it. But Jibri just has to decide what he's going to do and then have a plan to make it happen. You can't say you're going to do all this stuff while I live at my parents' house and drive their car.
Right.
So there's that. In which we all know, he's done stuff to make money on the side, but still. Yeah, I think it's all on him.
We've seen the IG posts and get it. So while he won't drive the truck, he's still doing something. The throuple switched up on us. Became a quadruple. Not even a quadruple. It's a quadruple. Patrick, Thais, and Matthew and Carlos. As we took a trip, man, we've been going everywhere. We were in Austin, we were in Dallas, and now we're in Vegas. They get to Vegas, which is where Patrick was living for a while before he left. But when he meets up with his brother, Patrick, and his husband, Carlos.
Matthew.
When Patrick met up with his brother Matthew, yes, and his husband Carlos. Why did Patrick? He hugged his brother nice and tight, like he's supposed to, but he sure arm extended that hand to Carlos like he didn't want to shake his hand.
Well, they did the guy. They did the guy. They shook hands and came and did that.
Come on, man. That's family. That's family.
It doesn't matter.
You go in for whatever, man. Doesn't matter. It was very noticeable to me.
Well, I think you were looking for something, and
I was not looking for shit.
You
I
found
saw it. I'm not the only one that saw it. Tell him below.
I was too worried about Thais. She just seems so immature. It's like a child. Like everything's exciting. It's Vegas. I'm just like, what? And I get you've never been, but still, act like you kind of been there before.
No, you can't. And you're not supposed to. Stop that.
No, she just
been to Vegas.
She's just way too immature about everything. It's like a giddy little girl, and maybe that's what Patrick likes about her.
The problem is that here's the thing I don't think you get, right? And this if somebody from overseas comes and goes to New York, this is what you've seen on TV so much. That's all you've seen. So Vegas, you've seen on TV. If this is all you've seen, it's a different feeling. You'll never know that feeling because you've never lived outside the country to come back and go, oh, this is the first time seeing it. Or growing up outside of it to see that. It's a different feeling to be there. Something you've seen on TV that's not, it's not even real. And then you get there, it's real. And you're like, oh, okay. Because that's why when people come to the States and they see the Midwest, they're like, what the hell is this? Or they go to upstate New York. What the hell is this? New York is supposed to be Manhattan.
I get it. I just feel like she's just really immature person. But going back to Patrick, so last week he was, he had to get a lot of convincing to spend $30-something on a vase, and he's worried about money. So now he plans his trip to Vegas to go see his brother. So I'm like, okay, it all depends on the money then. You don't mind spending it as long as it's stuff that you want to do. But I still don't like the fact that Thais wants to get married without telling her dad, and that she just wanted to, hey, we're in Vegas. I got a surprise here. Just go get married here. So it's so romantic in Vegas. I'm like, a quick little wedding and just some quick church, probably by an Elvis impersonator. That's romantic. Dream bigger, Brazil.
Well, considering that he doesn't want to spend any goddamn money except on a $30 vase, he should have jumped at the opportunity to have a cheap wedding. Okay, listen here, you little cheap shit. if this is what you're complaining about, like, I don't want to spend money, I don't want to spend anything to decorate the house. Okay, well then let's just have a quick wedding. How about that?
Hit the drive-through, get a couple milkshakes and a cheeseburger. Say I do. All for $15.
Exactly. Why not? Since he's so hard up for money, except for when he wants to do something that he wants to do, then yeah. But you're right. She is definitely, and we said this from the very beginning, she should not be keeping her dad in the dark. But it's interesting to me, and I question how he does not know that her dad doesn't know they're getting married. If it's so important to you, Mr. Patrick, that her dad knows that they're getting married, and that he is the most important person in her life.
Okay.
Why isn't he there?
The dad knows.
For the wedding.
The dad knows. Here's why I say the dad knows. Here's why I say the dad knows. Hmm? In Brazil, there's a camera crew following your daughter and meeting with you on camera. You're going to ask some questions. If I just showed up at your house with a camera crew behind me, you're going to be like, Tara, what's going on here? Because you got to sign a waiver or something so the dad knows. Then she's in Vegas and like the camera crew is behind your daughter as she's talking to you on video on WhatsApp. There's something going on. So the dad knows. Let's just stop lying to ourselves, or what the show is trying to make it seem like the dad doesn't know. The dad knows. He just doesn't like Patrick. Too.
Yeah, of course he doesn't like Patrick. Because Patrick, and it's funny that Patrick said the exact same thing that Thais said. Her dad wants to thinks of American men. Because he said the exact same thing that she thought, which is American men go to Brazil to get these women just to have sex with them. I do believe in the fact of the dad, thinking the dad knows. Dads have an idea, and he kind of knows what his daughter's doing. He's just like, he wants her to tell him. Mm-hmm. So Ari and Bini, I'm trying to understand if she's so jealous of anything that Bini does. And I know they have a history, but part of the history includes this Leandro that she's having intimate conversations with and wants to go with her to the the friggin' to go look for a dress. Why do you want your ex-husband to go dress shopping with you for your new husband? And why is the mom so goddamn disrespectful? How do you? There's so many things wrong in this entire thing here. Jesus Christ, so many places to go.
Well, one thing that I learned, you might already know this, but I don't pay attention to these shows, so I didn't know who Ari was until we started doing this. She has an immigrant fetish, doesn't she?
I told you that before.
She likes people. It's like, oh, you need a green card? You cute.
Remember, I told you that she was in South America and South or Central America, and it turns out it was Argentina, right? Because I said this earlier in one of those episodes where she was there, she dated somebody there, married them, and then that didn't work out, and then she ended up in Ethiopia, and that's where she met Bini. So yeah, this is definitely. She's never had a real job.
Yeah.
This is right out of high school that she did that. She was down there with her mom, and then that's why her mom and Leandro are so damn tight, because they all met when they were down there.
Yeah. Well, she has a little fetish for it. I do think that this is Ari trying to be messy with bringing Leandro around, because I would have a problem with that if. And I get it, y'all are married. You don't have kids together, but if y'all want to remain friends every now and then, but yeah, no, we're not going to be that close. And no, you don't need to go help pick out a dress. And Leandro should know that. My biggest concern out of that whole interaction between all of them is eating with the hand. I'm just like, I can't. I just can't let someone and then put some food in my mouth. I didn't see you wash those hands.
Ethiopian tradition.
I get it. Nope. It's hard pass. You can hand it to me on a fork. And you do the airplane. Come on, Terrell, here's the airplane. Bzzz. I'll do that. But don't wrap some, mystery meat in a tortilla and like stuff it in my mouth.
I mean, now, granted, I agree with you, and I've eaten at an Ethiopian restaurant before. I was like, yeah, I'll take the knife and fork, please. So I get the customs and all, but I'll take the knife and fork. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm not using the plate as the utensil to grab all the other stuff out of it. So I get it, but I put it like this. If the woman I'm supposed to marry is going to be bold enough to invite her ex-husband to celebration of my culture's New Year, then I'm going to choke the shit out of you by feeding you with this big ass, giant size serving of food. He did that on purpose. And
he all but made a
burrito.
Just made a burrito.
Hey, you look like you're like Moe's Southwest. Here, have this.
Yeah. No, you got to be able to back off. And I get it. You might be close with Ari's parents and maybe her sister. Maybe you check in. Maybe Christmas you pop in for a little bit. But you got to be able to back off from that. I think Benny's right to feel concerned. I think Benny's not worried because he knows he can take them.
Oh, yeah. Like, as he already did. Dude tapped out twice. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And then he was like...
Yeah. I did notice that. But I'm just like, that's just messy. Again, the show bringing the drama, but that's just messy. You shouldn't... If y'all divorce, it didn't work out, and you move on. But... the more I learn about Ari and her past and her decision making, I'm like, why would you want to? What does she bring to the table? I just don't get it.
She was the fun time that lasted a longer time for both of them. I would assume because that's what it was. She was the American girl in Argentina, and the American girl in Ethiopia. And Benny needs to grow some balls and say it. I don't know. He knows he can whoop his ass, but. Obviously, with this guy smirking at the end of the table, I need to put him in another chokehold. Let him. I want you to feel this again. I want you to remember that I can do this to you at any given time. And that's why he purposely told the guy 36 seconds. He's like, huh? Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, no, I think Benny should step up. And to me, I think Benny's conversation should be with Ari and say, hey, this is not appropriate. I'm not comfortable with this. And here's why. Now, if you don't like me wrestling with some girl, imagine if I did this to where I had one of my ex-relationships I was with for 10 years. I brought her around you and the baby to come celebrate this. You would lose your mind. Now, you need to check this. It shouldn't be me having to go tell Leandro to back off. You should be the one to check that relationship.
But not only that, she needs to check herself. And that's why he needs to check her in that. Because think about this. She fed her mom. She fed her dad. And then she has the nerve to ask Leandro, so do you want me to feed you? Woman, if you don't take your ass and sit down, what are you... In front of the man that's supposed to be your husband, you're going to ask your ex-husband if he wants you. And that's why Benny's like, no, I'll feed him. And Leandro should have been like, no. And he did. He had to say, I'll feed myself. But the fact that she asked in the first place is crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that she asked, do you want me to feed you?
Yeah.
No, you don't even make him a plate. You understand me?
Right. I would be so pissed if I was in a relationship and they wanted to, by hand feed some food to their ex across the table. And to your point, even if you got to made him a plate, if you're like, hey, Leandro, honey, what do you want? Do you still like this? I'd be like, you need to sit down. Leandro, you go get your own plate.
Let me tell you something. You know how if it's a cook out of the crib, she makes him a plate. I'm like, you need something to go? All right, here you go. Here's this. Here, have some burgers. Yes, you want some hot dogs? All right, cool. Here, take this woman too, because she's going with you. She's not staying here anymore.
No. I'm not the crazy jealous type by any means, but I would not be okay with my girl feeding her ex in front of me or behind my back. If I found out it happened, did you do?
Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, let me be clear. It's like in front of me or behind my back, and I don't need you to fix him a plate. And honestly, I don't really have women that they make my plate for me. I can take care of myself. I don't need that type of
Right.
That's not my love language. But you better not fix him a plate. You can help everybody else and be like, hey, Leandro, the paper plate's right over there. You start on that end and work your way down. Use the tongs.
Anybody else in the family, fine. I know you like to think of him as part of the family, but not that part of the family.
He's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's extended family, but he's not family. Now, Bini, that's your family right there. What you have right there. Leandro's on the outside of that.
Makes me wonder, were Bini's sisters right all along? Because they don't trust her for a reason. And they've seen stuff that we haven't seen. And besides her jealousy and she has extreme jealousy. But if you're doing this kind of shit, can you really even be jealous?
I wouldn't trust her either. I mean, you have a thing for just hopping around the country and just finding somebody, getting married, and bringing them back. So that's just weird to me. You have no career. You have nothing really you've built for yourself besides this reality TV deal, and you brought a baby into the world. I wouldn't trust her because I just don't see what her angle is. And then they even bring a Bini back, knowing he can't work. He's not going to be bringing in MMA money, anytime soon. You're still mooching off your family. Like, to me, y'all are both the problem. Like, I just wouldn't trust her. I don't trust Bini either.
I think the red flag was there for a while. And flashback. When she says to Leandro, see, we could have had a baby like this, but you didn't want to act right.
Yeah. In front of Bini. I'm just like, why would you?
That's why Bini choked his ass out.
Yeah, could you imagine? It's like, this could have been your life too. Why you like this show? I just don't get it.
Well, you like it too. You're just pretending like you don't.
Don't. It's just stupid.
Hey, don't forget we're back here next week for episode 12. And January 6th, we should be back. Married at First Sight, season 16, San Diego. As long as we hit the goal that we need to hit. Prayer Warriors unite, because we got to get there. Just a little over 200 away.
I'm not worried about it whatsoever, but let's see. Let me think what other league I can sign up for on Wednesday nights. Just make sure I'm booked. I already talked about bowling and axe throwing leagues. I think something else. My Dungeons and Dragons club meets up on Wednesday nights.
You can sign up for your knitting league. How about that? Your speed knitting league. How about that?
Speed knitting.
Hey, I'm Yanni Rude.
I'm just Terrell.
And make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.